Hi everyone, here we are, expanding your intuition, having faith, and sometimes doing the illogical. I believe all of us have intuition. Some call it a sixth sense, but sometimes you just need practice or confidence in developing it. Thoughts are the voice of the ego, and intuition is the voice of your higher self. So as you develop your intuition, you will be able to make decisions that maybe are not logical, right? So they may seem illogical to the thinking ego mind, but they actually put you exactly where you want to be. Ego isn't bad. So it's not that we want to discount our ego or quench our ego down, because the ego does protect us. So a lot of times the ego develops its thoughts and beliefs on past experience, what happened in the past, because that's all the ego can build upon or know. So if you were in an accident in the past, taking a left turn, every time you take a left turn, that your ego thought might be like, whoa, be extra careful here. So with this car analogy, we want our ego in the car, right? We want our ego protecting us in case something happens, a saber-toothed tiger is chasing us. We want to be able to have our ego kick in that, fight or flight response. The thing is, though, we don't want our ego driving our car. We want our intuition, our connection to our higher self to be driving the car, right? So to be guiding your life. Going through life intuitively is a lot different energetically than going through life with an ego-based driver. So let me give you an example of this in a story. Years ago, I was working at a mortgage company. And at the time, I was a single mom with 2 kids and a mortgage payment. My grandmother came to me and said to quit my job. And I was like, what? What are you saying? So I meditated on it and I really searched my intuition about it. Is this something that feels right for me to do? It doesn't make any logical sense, right? But does it feel right? The message I kept getting was trust, just trust, right? So I did. I did. I left my lucrative mortgage job and I decided I was going to utilize my herbal certification that I had earned and become an herbalist. It was a tough decision, and most people around me thought I was crazy to do this, and my father was the most vocal. And he said, you have such a great job, you make such good money, and you're going to quit to be an herbalist. You're never going to make any money being an herbalist, right? And he was looking at it very practical, like fathers do. And he was really upset about it. He was really trying to change my mind. I explained to him, that this is something I'm going to do. I told him he can talk about me, when I'm not around, but please do not put that energy in my space. With that, I did it, right? So I left that job and I became an herbalist. One of the first things I did is one of my girlfriends called me and said, hey, there's going to be a health fair, so you should come. She's like, I'm going to go and, you can have a booth right next to me. So I said, well, I might as well do it, right? So I decided to do that herbal fair. Lo and behold, it was at this fair that I met my husband. That I met my husband now, that I met my husband that is so supportive and is on this journey. So if I had never left my mortgage job, I would have never been at that health fair and I would have never met him. So it was an amazing thing that we met. And with that, this whole life blossomed that we're living now. So I never looked back at leaving that mortgage job. In fact, that job really went away. In about a year and a half, the company was sold and everyone lost their jobs anyway. So that's a story of doing something that's illogical, but having faith in your intuition. I realize that's a big jump. That's a big jump for a lot of people. And for me, it was many years of trusting, having the guidance of my grandmother to hear, and then trusting my intuition, right? Trusting my intuition. And I feel that all of us can do this. And if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't leapt, when I meditated on this and envisioned this, possibility, it felt like I was diving off a cliff just with blind faith. But once I did it, it was magical. The whole thing is magical. Our whole journey is really magical. There's so many stories like this that I can share with you that confirm this. So I just want to implore on you to start using your muscle, start using your intuitive muscle, and have fun with it, right? If you can validate that your intuition is there, your intuition has your back, then you are going to be more confident to trust your intuition and to go with the faith. Sometimes, intuition will creep in. It seems as if the intuition happens, for me anyway, when I'm vibing high, right? So again, we're circling back to that vibrating high. So when you're vibrating high, it's like your pathway to your intuition is there, right? Another thing I'd like to mention is that intuition, generally speaking, happens in the now. Your ego sometimes will base decisions on what's happened in the past, but your intuition will not do that, nor will it judge what could potentially happen in the future based on this decision, right? That's all the job of your ego. Your ego, sort of assesses the situation based on the linear experiences of the past and the potential worries of the future, right? Potential possibilities linearly of the future. Your intuition works in the now, and your intuition is infinite. So what often happens is we'll get a thought, perhaps, of a friend in the minute, and then your friend will call, right? It's happening in the now. So that is how your intuition can work if you give it space to do so, right? So if you give it the ability to, yes, I feel like right today and not left, right? So go with that right. Give your intuition space in your life and treat it as something that exists within you, and that you are a muscle that you are continually strengthening. The magic comes in when we allow the energy in, the high vibration, the energy in, and we allow it to supercharge our intuition, and we make decisions from that point.